This series of videos is intended to provide the sport of obedience with a clear explanation of the individual obedience exercises, procedures, and scoring. It is not intended to be the only resource, and participants in the sport are encouraged to attend judges' seminars and above all read the regulations. This is not an AKC product. It is based on the obedience regulations and shares the interpretations of many AKC judges. KPS takes full responsibility for its content. In this video, we will discuss the novice stand for examination. The principal feature of the novice stand for examination is that the dogs stand in position before and during the examination without displaying resentment. In order to best understand the regulations, they should be studied. As in all obedience exercises, both the handler and the dog are scored on their compliance to the regulations. Chapter 3, Section 3 tells us that there are 30 points available for this exercise. In order to qualify in this exercise, a handler must retain more than 50% of the available points. In this case, that would be 15.5 points. The stand for exam exercise follows the figure 8 exercise and is the first exercise in novice that is performed off-leash. After the figure 8 exercise, the handler will remove the leash from the dog's collar and either hand it to a ring steward or place it on a stand identified by the judge. The handler can either have the dog stay in their current location or may take the dog with them to the stand and then return to the place where the exercise will begin. Between exercises, the handler may guide the dog gently by the collar if needed. The judge will ask, "Are you ready?" If the handler is ready, they should reply in some affirmative manner. Saying yes, ready, or nodding their head will tell the judge that he or she can begin the exercise. On the order to stand your dog, the handler may interact with the dog in any manner that would be acceptable in the confirmation ring. We will begin by watching the exercise in its entirety, and then we will break it down into its elements.
Stand for exam. Are you ready?
Ready.
Stand your dog and leave when ready.
Stand back. Wait.
Back to your dog. Exercise finished.
Now let's take a look at the exercise. The judge's orders for this exercise are you ready? Stand your dog and leave when ready. And back to your dog. Upon the judge's order to leave the dog, the handler may give a signal and/or command to tell the dog to stand and stay.
Ready.
This command and/or signal starts the scoring for this exercise. The handler will then walk 6 feet from the dog, perform an about turn, and face the dog. The handler must not back away from their dog. This will be considered an additional signal to stay and will be penalized even to the point of non-qualification. The handler will remain standing about 6 feet from the dog with his or her hands in a natural position. The hands may hang at the side or may be crossed in front of the handler's midriff. Either hand position must be maintained until the handler returns to the dog. Upon the judge's command, return to your dog. The handler will return to heel position and wait until the judge orders exercise finished. At that point, the handler can release the dog. Heel position is defined as having the dog on the handler's left side straight in line with the direction the handler is facing. The area from the dog's head to the shoulder is to be in line with the handler's left hip. For this exercise, we must view this in a slightly different manner. The handler is to return to the right side of the dog, in line with the direction the dog is facing, placing his or her hip between the end of the dog's head and the top of the dog's withers. Heel position varies with the size of the dog. Positioning next to a smaller dog becomes even more critical as the handler returns or leaves from heel position. Here we see the handler leave from slightly behind heel position. This is scoreable, as is leaving from ahead of heel position. Coincidentally, in this case, the held signal could also be scoreable. A dog should receive a non-qualifying score if it leaves its place, sits, or lies down during the examination. Likewise, the dog will be non-qualified if it growls or shows resentment or shyness. Leaving its place is a matter of degrees. A dog taking a step or two, but that essentially stays where it was left, will require a judgment call. The judge will use his or her experience, training, and reasoning to determine the appropriate penalty. Minor to substantial penalties may be applied if the dog moves its feet during and after the examination, and if it sits or lies down after the examination. Should the dog show shyness, and depending upon the degree, the dog may receive a minor to NQ score. A handler may be penalized for a variety of things, including but not limited to giving additional commands, hand position that is not natural, failing to go 6 feet or going beyond 6 feet, and failure to return to heel position. A dog that attacks or attempts to attack a human while in the ring must be disqualified by the judge. A disqualification requires the judge, the club giving the trial, along with the handler to complete some paperwork, as well as seek medical attention if needed. A disqualification requires the dog to be removed from AKC grounds immediately, and it cannot compete or even appear on AKC event grounds until it has been evaluated by an AKC representative and reinstated.